Well, today we are going to be building, I guess not building, sorry. We're going to be upgrading a motherboard, and we are also going to be upgrading to this guy, the Be Quiet Light Loop. So looking forward to that, and I figured I'd bring you guys along for the ride. So let's get this thing started. So first to start, we're gonna be on the motherboard. I got this used, and normally they go for about $350, $400, and got this for a pretty good deal, so I'm pretty excited about that. The only thing is, with it being used, it might be garbage. It might not work, but we're gonna test it out. Got some sweet stickers here. Not a big sticker guy, but pretty sweet. Came with those. A little bit of box in here. Disc, even though no one ever uses those. Like a manual, stuff like that. And what else do we got here? First, the motherboard. When it got shipped, there was screws everywhere. So that's something that we'll have to figure out, if that damaged it or if it was already working. Like I said, I hope it works. It looks like it's in pretty good condition. You can kind of see some dust and stuff. So of course I'll have to clean that up, kind of take a closer look and see what we got going on here. But it was very nice that it was, for the most part, packaged good, and it didn't really seem like anything was too dinged up or anything. Comes with a bunch of screws, SATA cables. This is a Wi-Fi board, so it's got the antenna here. So we'll hook that up, and this guy's actually magnetic, which is pretty sweet. So yeah, that's the motherboard. Next we've got the AIO, which I'm pretty excited for. So excited I forgot how to open it. Just goes to show. Okay. So I got this brand new. So we'll get to set that up. Hopefully keep our temps nice and cool. Came with 3 RGB fans. Looking forward to that. And a really cool thing about this AIO is it does have fluid here, which most AIOs aren't refillable. So once they go bad, they're kind of just junk. Air gets in there and you can't really do anything anymore unless you have like a warranty, and then you could potentially return it and get a new one. But yeah, this one, over time, if there does get any air in there, and there will, because there's permeation, air will get into anything, then you just top it off and it's good to go, and hopefully it'll be a lot longer life than most other AIOs. So here we have the PC. So yeah, I gotta go and take basically everything out, which that'll be so fun. It's gonna be great. And then from there, we're gonna put the new motherboard in, change out this big air cooler, which actually has been really good, but I did start to overclock the CPU, so now it's getting a little bit hotter. So I wanted that air cooler so I can, sorry, not air cooler, the AIO, so then can keep those temps down, and then hopefully get a little bit better performance, and then I won't have to worry about it getting so hot in there. So let's get this thing started. So I'm going to start by taking out the graphics card. Hopefully free up a little bit of space here. Take out this homemade anti-sag bracket that I had here. Let's see.
From here, I'm just trying to take the graphics card out. I was having a little bit of trouble because that pin that actually unlatches the graphics card is right behind that cooler. And then it was actually stuck on the case itself too, so I had a little bit of trouble. But I finally got it out.
It's just stuck right there. Here's our nice and cute 3080. The RGB. Make sure to put this somewhere safe. Okay.
So right here, I'm just trying to take out the cords. I had a little bit of trouble with that 90-degree adapter. I unfortunately broke it a little bit, but I was actually able to put it back together. Just taking out all the SATA cables here, unplugging the main 24-pin power, CPU power. Then I'm unscrewing the motherboard from the case. From here, what I did was I decided to just keep the cooler on because it was a good point to actually pick up the entire motherboard and just kind of pull everything up. And I was able to just pull it out, and there it is.
Got it. So, yeah, I might have messed that guy up a little bit, but we'll see. Hopefully it's not too bad, and if it is, I can just order a new one. But I'll try to get that out and try to get all this taken off. Okay, so now we're just gonna be cleaning this up a little bit. Grab my alcohol.
From this point on, this was a very tedious part. As I mentioned before, I got the motherboard used, and the person that I got it from actually had used it for quite a few years. They took pretty good care of it, like I said, but it was pretty dirty. They did not clean it at all before they sent it out. So I had to be very careful in what I was doing, and actually some of those metal fins underneath the heat spreaders were bent, so I had to unbend those, as well as kind of push back some thermal pads that were coming out. So that took quite a while, and as you can see, I'm just kind of making sure everything's looking good and bending stuff back. And then I had those pointed Q-tips that I had 91% isopropyl alcohol, so I would use that to take all the dust out, and then I was using this brush to get in between the metal parts, which actually worked pretty good. And then we're just getting ready to put the CPU in there, and that will be in there in 3, 2, 1. For this time lapse, I'm just kind of reviewing everything, making sure everything's looking good. Then what I had to do was, unfortunately, I didn't have multiple cameras, and the one that I was using was pretty stationary, so I had to just keep it mostly in the same spot. So then I went over to my other motherboard, and when I did the CPU install, I also had installed the main boot drive, which is in that first slot up on top. And so now what I'm doing is I'm just getting ready to transfer over the secondary NVMe drive. That's the game drive. And so then I'm just pulling that off, making sure everything looks good. And then I'm taking that heat spreader off of there as well. And then now I should be ready to just pop it in there. As you can see here, I got all the cords in, and now I'm kind of just comparing the sizes of that MATX board to the new one. It's kind of crazy how much more it fills out that case. Here I'm just getting the mounts in for the AIO. I actually had some big thumb screws that were in there holding the back plate in place, so then I wouldn't have to try to deal with trying to put it back on. So now I'm just getting the mount ready for the AIO. We are now just zipping in those top screws for the radiator and fans that is in a push-pull configuration. Now we're going to be taking off this pump so we can get the thermal paste on. For the thermal paste, I chose the Kingpin Cooling KPX. It's actually been a favorite of mine for a long time. Everything that I've used it on, it has worked perfectly great. I've never had a single issue besides a little bit of pump out, but I buy it in this big tube so I can use an ample amount. Typically people just recommend a pea size, but I like to just do as much as I think would be a good amount on there. I use a spatula here to spread it out a good amount, and I don't want to just spread it out. I want to make sure it's even all the way across so it's not contacting in kind of odd spots. So I'm adding a little bit more here just to make sure it's all good. And then we are just about ready to put the pump on. Now I'm just making sure that there's even tightness across, and we have a transition. We've got the graphics card here. We are just going to install that, and then we are just about done. Now I have everything up and running here. We've got all the fans spinning, all the RGB is on, and this new motherboard came with a postcode readout, which is pretty sweet. The infinity fans are working good. This new AIO pump has got some nice RGB on it, and I've never seen such cool temps on this PC. So we're excited to try it out. Thanks for watching today. Subscribe and see you around.